Hello everyone, and in this video we'll be talking about how to use a servo. Now, for this video you will need one Arduino, one servo, 6 two-sided breadboard wires, one breadboard of any size, one potentiometer, and last but not least, one power source, either battery or a wall outlet. And with that, let's get started. Now let's wire our Arduino. I'll take my Arduino and my servo. Look at the servo, you see that there are actually 3 ports on this thing. One yellow, one red, and one other brown or black. So, we'll start with the red port. We'll start with the brown port. As I'm sure you guessed, the brown port is our ground wire. So we'll get our first wire. Go ahead and plug that into the brown port. Just like that. If you push it in all the way, just like that. Now, to the end of the wire, and we'll go ahead and plug that right into the ground port of our Arduino. So as you can see, it's in the ground port, just like that, really simple. Now, take another wire. So I'm sure you guessed, the red wire is our power. So we'll plug our second cable right into there, just like that, and plug the other end into the 5-volt slot, just like that. So you can see the red cable in the 5-volt slot, just like that. And our last cable is yellow, and this is our control cable. So I'll go ahead and plug our last wire right into there, just like that. And this will be going in slot number 8, right there. As you can see, slot 8. As you can see better, number 8 on the digital PWM line. And believe it or not, that's all there is for the wiring. Now it's time to go ahead and program this. First thing you want to do is include the library. So just /include. We'll include the library servo.h. Servo.h. This will make the coding a lot easier. Now, next thing we're going to go do is down here, we're going to declare a new servo. So this all we do is do servo with a capital S. We'll call this, let's call it servo. And that's actually for our thing. Then in setup, we'll do, you can delete this comment. You can do servo.attach. Remember our servo is attached to port 8, so let's do servo.attach 8. And in here, we can make our code to move our servo. Now, there are 2 interesting functions here. The first one is the read function. So we'll do while servo.read, and this will tell us the current position for servo. So while the current position is less than 180, which is the maximum position, we want to servo.write, so set the position of the servo to the current position, servo.read, so the current position plus 5. So while, this is saying is, while the position of the servo is less than 180, set the position to the current position plus 5. Now I'll go ahead and add a delay thing in here, just like that. And this is just to make sure the servo actually moves that position before we call the next code. Now, once we get to the 180, this is the same thing in reverse. So we can just go ahead and actually copy this exact code and paste it. This time, while the servo position is greater, says is greater than 0, which is the minimum. So in case you didn't know, servos can be the maximum of 180 or a minimum of 0. So while the servo is greater than 0, let's subtract 5 and wait 15 seconds. But this is actually all our code done. So I can go ahead and upload this. And now let's check it out on our program. If I go ahead and switch my cameras, you can see that I have already uploaded my program. Now, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my battery. And as you can see, instantly the program starts running. Just like that. Now, let's add on to a circuit. If I push this out of the way, we can get our mini breadboard and our potentiometer. Let's go ahead and attach this onto our breadboard. Just like that. You can see we have 2 metal pins on one side and 1 metal pin on the other side. Like that. Now, take our wires, The first wire will go right here. It's in line with this metal pin. And this will go into power. So we'll go ahead and plug this into our 5-volt slot by unplugging this one. We'll put this one right into there. And we'll plug our old 5-volt slot for the servo right here. So the way this works is this red wire has the power from our Arduino, and it's sending power to the potentiometer and to the servo. Next we have our ground wire. So I will plug in right there. As you can see, it's in line with the second metal pin. And our ground wire will go in the other ground slot right there. So both of our ground pins, both of our green ground wires are in the ground pins. Now the last one will be our input. So let me use the yellow wire for this. Plug it in right there. As you can see, it's in line with the last pin. And now this is the interesting one, since it's pretty important. Now, we're not gonna put this in the digital section because we don't want just a high or a low. We wanna know the exact amount of turn on our knob. So instead, we're gonna move over and use the analog section instead. So this pin is gonna go inside A0. So you can see analog pin 0. And this is our wiring all done. If I sort out, you can see we have a potentiometer knob that can spin and our servo all connected. Here's the wiring on the breadboard once again. Here's the white pin in the digital slot number 8. And on the other side, we have 2 green pins in ground, 1 red pin in 5-volt, and 1 yellow pin in A0 for analog 0. Time to program. First thing first, let's go here and set a new variable. And it's going to be called the value. Now, down here we can delete all this code. And instead, let's put, first off, value equals analog read. This is an analog pin. And we're reading pin 0. This will give us the value of a potentiometer. There's an issue here. The potentiometer measures between 0 and 1023. But our servo is the number between 0 and 180. Thankfully, it's a function called map, which is very simple. We're going to do map, we get map value. And by default, value between 0 and 1023. Well, we want to make its value between 0 and 180. So this function right here will change value that's between 0 and 180. Let's go ahead and input this value. So do servo dot write value. Then let's do delay. We can do 15 milliseconds, something like that here. Just to give the servo enough time to respond. Let's go ahead and upload. Now, if I once again go ahead and plug in our battery, the program does indeed work. As I spin this knob, you can see that the servo spins with it. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.